Hey, how's it going, everyone? So on this channel, I talk about manga collecting a lot, but one thing I haven't done for a couple of years actually is show you guys my manga collection. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a tour of my manga collection. Let's just jump right into it. Alright, so starting off at the top here, we have some of my box sets. I just keep them all up there. And then just moving on to the actual manga itself. On the top shelf here, I have Magi volumes 1 through 37, as well as the final chapter of Magi in Weekly Shonen Sunday when that came out. So Magi, I think it's actually it's a really solid battle shonen. It's really fun. So I think if you're really into like the early 2010s to like mid 2010s type of battle shonen, it's really great. There's also a couple seasons of the anime, but that only goes up to, I believe, like around volume 20, around like chapter 199 or 198, something like that. But yeah, like hopefully one day the rest of it can get animated, but even if that doesn't happen, I own the manga and I've read it. And I think that while the ending wasn't as strong as you'd hope for, it is still really solid throughout basically the entire story otherwise. And that's why I'd highly recommend it if you're into like fun battle shonen. Moving on to the next shelf here, I actually have some Slam Dunk figures that my friend gifted to me. And then just behind those, we actually have Slam Dunks volumes 1 through 31, I believe. Yep, so that is the complete series of Slam Dunk. This is probably one of my favorite manga, actually. So I grew up playing basketball and obviously liking anime and manga. So when you combine the two of them, it's just something that it grows great for me. And I think in general, like a lot of people agree that this is like the art in the story and the storytelling itself, like how the main character Sakuragi here, how he gets into basketball in an unconventional way. Like he does it so that he can impress a girl. But then throughout the story, he starts to actually realize that he likes basketball. And I think that the reason why I like shonen and sports, especially sports shonen, a lot is because of that aspect of it. It's like the inspiration and like the drive to want to improve, not for others, but for yourself as well. I think that's an aspect of these types of stories that I like a lot. Then moving on, we have Yotsuba, volumes 1 through 15. So, and I think this is also caught up to the English release. There might be more in Japan, but I'm not sure. So Yotsuba is a series about a girl and her father. He's a single father, and he's like raising her throughout the story. It's a slice of life manga that's very wholesome. I highly recommend it if you're looking for something that's just it'll make you feel good after reading it, basically. It's very wholesome. I highly recommend it if you're into slice of life manga. So moving down here, we have Naruto volumes 1 through 27, which is basically the first box set and the obviously the original part of Naruto before the time skip. So when I think of Naruto, this is kind of what I think of, because this is like what I would watch on if you guys live in Canada, it was called Bionics. So that it was kind of like a late night TV block. I know in America you guys had Adult Swim, I believe. It's kind of similar to that. They would show stuff like Naruto and Bleach, and also stuff like, I believe there was like Zatch Bell, things like that, like a lot of shonen. They would show those on TV late at night. And that's where I remember watching Naruto as a kid, and that's why I really wanted to pick up this box set, the first box set here, because I don't know, it's just because obviously I've been rereading it, and it's it still kind of holds up to what I remember it being. It's a pretty great story. It's very entertaining. So moving on, we have this is the Bleach 20th Anniversary Collector's Edition. It's just the first volume of Bleach here. I might get more of Bleach eventually, but for right now, like, I just got this for collector's sake. I've read through it. Actually, the thing about this volume is it's kind of like, so I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of like rough. Like if I had to describe it, like these volumes are kind of like the pages are kind of fluffy. And it was kind of hard to read this, to be honest. It was like, it's kind of rough the way that it's printed, but it's like doable. Like if you want to read this, you can. But obviously if you can go with the regular edition, it's fine as well. This is kind of more of a collector's piece. That's cool. And then next to Bleach here, we have One Punch Man, volumes 1 through 12. To be honest, I haven't really read One Punch Man in a while, and that's why I haven't picked up more volumes. If I do want to read more of it, I might just read online. But obviously, it's easily accessible, so I can pick up more volumes or I can read it online. Whenever I decide to read more One Punch Man, I'll decide which one I want to do. And then next to One Punch Man here, we have One Piece, volumes 1 through 23, and also volume 100. I think I'm missing volume 2, but that's because my sister's borrowing it right now. She's been reading One Piece as well. So the thing about One Piece, and also the reason that I have volume 100 specifically, is because I think this is actually the first manga in English to get up to volume 100. So I know there's like a lot of manga in Japan. Obviously, there's like probably a couple dozen that have over like 1,000 chapters and over 100 volumes. But this was the first one to get to that point in English, at least. And that's a pretty cool milestone. That's why I wanted to own this one specifically. And I only own up to 23, obviously. I will probably get more of it eventually, but for right now, like, I'm just trying to catch up to One Piece online. I've been saying that for like a year, but I will do it eventually. I think I'll probably not go with the physicals for now because I want to start collecting more of it through the box sets. And right now I just have the first one. But I'm kind of more focused on trying to catch up to just the chapters online. And I think actually Oda's on break right now as of the recording of this video because he's undergoing a surgery. And I hope everything goes well with that. And he has a speedy recovery and everything goes well with him in that regard. So next to One Piece, we have volumes 1 through 12 and the 13th How to Read volume of Death Note. Death Note, I don't know, I really liked Death Note growing up. And I guess I'm not as into it as I used to be, but obviously I still like it because I've kept the manga for all this time. The box set was actually one of the first pieces of manga that I collected physically way back in the day when I was in high school. I'm not that old, but you know what I mean. So it's yeah, Death Note still pretty much holds up to this day. I actually think I might prefer the anime over the manga in terms of experiencing Death Note. I've watched the anime like 2 or 3 times in my life at this point. And I think things like the voice acting and the soundtrack really like play into the appeal of it, for me at least. I don't know if you guys are like that as well, but some anime, it's like, it does kind of elevate the manga in certain aspects, for me at least. And I think that's why I'm like, yeah, for this series I prefer the anime, I guess, but I still keep the manga as well, obviously. So then next to Death Note, we have Platinum End Volume 1. I just have the first volume here. I don't know if I'm ever going to collect more of it. I think there's an anime as well, but I never really like checked it out yet. But maybe more of that will come one day. We'll see. So going down, we just have Black Cat volumes 1 through 20 by Kentaro Miura. Or sorry, Kentaro Yabuki. My bad. Kentaro Miura is the creator of Berserk. So yeah, 1 through 20 here. This is complete as well. So Black Cat was one of those manga where I wouldn't call it a grail, but when I started collecting manga when I was in high school, I didn't really expect to ever be able to find some of the volumes because they were actually kind of like they were out of print, I guess, at that point already. I think it was like this volume specifically, volume 15, was really hard to find. But then randomly one day in like early 2020, there was someone on a Facebook Marketplace that was selling all of them for like $50. And obviously, like this is one of the series where I never really expected to be able to collect all of it. So I was really happy to see that they were selling all of them for a really good price. So I picked it up. And yeah, it's like, I remember watching the anime back in the day on YouTube, back when people would split the episodes into like 1 of 3 parts. So that's how I ended up watching it back then. And obviously the anime differs from the manga. So I wanted to see how it is in its original form, and I was finally able to do that. It's a pretty solid battle shonen. It's from the early 2000s. I think one thing Kentaro Yabuki is really good at is showing like movement throughout his artwork, like when they're fighting, when the characters are fighting and everything. The choreography is like really easy to follow. And I think that's something that, it's like a skill that not every like battle shonen artist has, but he does it really well, in my opinion. And then next to Black Cat here, we have the first Pokemon Adventures box set. I actually don't know if I'm gonna keep this yet. I might get more of it, but then I also know there's like an omnibus edition where it's like, I think they're 2-in-1 volumes. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep this first box set or not. But for now, yeah, we'll stick with it. So then next to Pokemon Adventures, we have Shaman King, the omnibus editions by Kodansha. I have like the first 18 volumes here. So I've actually been saving Shaman King for like another time, because right now obviously I've been reading Naruto, and I'm almost done with the volumes that I have left. And then after that I might just catch up on One Piece. But then I've kind of been saving Shaman King for a time where it's like I feel like I don't really have much to read, and that's why I haven't bought more of it, because if I'm not committing to it right now, I shouldn't probably be buying more volumes. Because it's really easy to buy volumes, but it takes more time to actually read them. That's why I haven't been collecting more of this, but I'm happy with what I have for now, and I'm really looking forward to being able to read this in its entirety. Because I believe that these editions actually, so the original Viz release, it wasn't the complete, like, it's not the complete series. I guess in Japan there was like a true ending, and that didn't appear until like the volumes for that were released later. And that was finally released with this Kodansha release here. So it'll be cool to see like how it differs, you know what I mean? And then here we have Hunter x Hunter volumes 1 through, I believe it's 36, which is caught up to the English release right now. I think 37 is actually going to come out later this year, and I'll probably pick up that volume as well when it comes out. I have this volume displayed just because I like the cover a lot. But yeah, Hunter x Hunter, great battle shonen manga. Obviously, it's known for its hiatuses, and I even have a video talking about like, will Hunter x Hunter ever end? And obviously with the recent news with Togashi, and how it's like, I believe that the series is technically not being serialized weekly in Weekly Shonen Jump anymore. And it's kind of like Togashi's going to be able to release it at his own pace. And given his like health concerns and like the issues he's had throughout the years, I think that is for the best. But whatever does come out next for Hunter x Hunter, I'm looking forward to it, as this is one of my favorite like manga in general. I think if you are into Hunter x Hunter, or if you want to get into Hunter x Hunter, you don't necessarily need to watch or read the manga. The 2011 anime adaptation is a great place to start, in my opinion, and it's one of my favorite anime in general as well. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a new battle shonen to get into. And then at the end here, we just have Junji Ito's Cat Diary, Yana and Mu. So I've technically never actually read a Junji Ito manga yet, and actually, I watched a Atriok video, like the streamer Atriok, and it was basically him reading one of Junji Ito's manga for part of the stream, and it was interesting. And I was like, I've always heard of Junji Ito's manga, and my sister even owns a couple of his books, but I've never went out of my way to read them because I'm not super into like horror stuff in general. But this was kind of like, I've heard it's more lighthearted. It's drawn in like his art style that he normally draws in, but it's like a story about his cats. So I think that it's like a good place to start, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess, whenever I get to that one as well. So down here we have Dragon Ball volumes 1 through 16, as well as Dragon Ball Z volumes 1 through 26, which does complete the original Dragon Ball manga. And then we also have Dragon Ball Super 1 through 5, and this other volume here as well, which is That Time I Got Reincarnated as Yamcha. This is basically a manga where a Dragon Ball fan gets basically like transported to a Dragon Ball world, and he lives as Yamcha, but since he knows what happens in the story, he doesn't want to take L's the same way Yamcha did. So he ends up, what's it called? Obviously, he does better for himself than Yamcha did throughout the Dragon Ball manga. It's an interesting read if you're into Dragon Ball. But yeah, Dragon Ball in general, I would say I'm probably not as into Dragon Ball as other people are, but I did grow up with it as well. and that's why I've picked up the manga and read them. Yeah, but I think it's I think it's pretty entertaining, and you can obviously see like how other manga like Naruto and other shonen were influenced by it, and that's why I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, it's pretty entertaining. I don't know if I'll collect more of Dragon Ball Super. These are more so my brother's volumes. He was really into Dragon Ball back in like a few years ago, and that's why he picked these up. Maybe I will if I decide to read more of Super as well. And then next to Dragon Ball here, we have some Avatar: The Last Airbender coasters. And then I also have Berserk volumes 1 through 41, which is complete at this moment. Obviously, rest in peace, Kentaro Miura. Berserk, I think that it's a great manga, and obviously that's a common sentiment among people online. I don't know what I can say about it that hasn't been said already, because there's a lot of in-depth videos out there that talk about how great this manga is. And like giving my 2 cents on it, I think the artwork's great. I think the storytelling is amazing. It's a great story, and I think that if you're okay, like I'm not gonna like blankly recommend Berserk, because I know some people like if you're okay with like gore and like other mature themes like that, it's because it can get very like 18 plus at certain points. It's so it's like if you're okay with that type of thing, I highly recommend it. It's a very great manga. So then just going down, we have Rurouni Kenshin volumes 1 through 28, and I think I am missing volume 27. But yeah, Rurouni Kenshin. So the thing about this manga is that it's a great manga, but it's written by a really shitty guy. If you know about what Nobuhiro Watsuki did, and even if you don't, I'm sure someone will comment down below about like what he was charged with a few years back. It's unfortunate, like, and I think that one thing that I would say about this series is that obviously, like, I got it used, and I think at this point I'm probably not going to support anything else that Nobuhiro Watsuki does. I think that this series is getting like a new anime adaptation, and I'm like, I'm not gonna check that out, dude. It's like there's still he's still benefiting from like the things that he puts out now, and I think that like I choose not to support the new stuff that he does, because like this series, like I read a lot of it back in the day, and like it was before the stuff came out about him, so it's like, will I let that? I don't know. I guess if I'm able to like remove like the experience that I had back then with what happened later on with him. But I understand if other people don't want to support him at all anymore, even like by picking up series that are used by him. Because it's like, I understand like if you feel that way as well. Moving on, we actually have Welcome to the NHK, volumes 1 through 8. This is actually like, I think this is the only Tokyo Pop manga that I own. But yeah, like the series has been recommended to me a lot. Like I think there's an anime as well. And it's just one of those things. I saw a good deal like on Facebook Marketplace again, and I was like, hey, I'll pick this up and I'll read it eventually, which I'm exposing myself here. I have not read this yet. But I think randomly, like, this is like Ludwig's favorite anime and manga. So it's like, I don't know. I'll like, I definitely want to check this out eventually when I want like a change of pace. Because obviously you can tell like I own a lot of like action and specifically like battle shonen manga. So it's nice to, like, it'll be nice to get a change of pace from those types of series. So then next to Welcome to the NHK, we have A Silent Voice, volumes 1 through 7. So I think that this is a great manga about, specifically covers some serious themes like, and like bullying and like how people deal with, basically like feeling like outcasted, and it's like a great manga covering those topics. I also think there's a movie as well. I've seen the movie as well. The movie does cut out some things from that were in the manga that kind of give more context to what the characters are up to in certain parts of the story. But overall, I feel like if you've just seen the movie, that's like, it's pretty accurate to what the manga is, except for a few different things that like they couldn't cover in like I think the movie might be like less than 2 hours. But yeah, like if you've only ever watched the movie, you're not missing out on too much, but yeah, this is a great manga if you want to check it out, and if you're okay with the themes that are discussed within it. And then next to A Silent Voice, we have Hellsing Volumes 1 through 3. So, I actually, I think I basically got these volumes because they were thrown in when I bought I bought a bunch of the Berserk volumes back in the day used. I think it was like 1 through 11. And the guy threw in like 2 and 3 of Hellsing, and I found one just like at the thrift store randomly one day. But I don't know if I'm gonna like keep collecting the singles, because I'm not like, I know some manga collectors, they really like the hunt of searching for like kind of like out of print and rare manga. This manga has been reprinted in the deluxe editions, and like similar to what the Berserk deluxe editions are. It also has its own like, there's 3 big deluxe edition volumes, I believe. So I don't know if I'm gonna collect the rest of the series that way, or if I'm able to find the rest of the singles somehow for like a fair price, then I might just pick them up that way as well. So we'll see how I want to collect the rest of this for now. So then next up, this is kind of an empty shelf. I just kind of haven't decided what I'm going to put here yet, because all of my box sets are empty. So I'm lucky enough that I'm able to have enough space for all the manga that I have. But right now, I just have some random volumes here. So it's the first Dragon Ball Visbig, a few volumes of Eva that my friend gifted to me. Thank you, Peter. Bastard Volume 1, 17 to 21 by Tatsuki Fujimoto. I haven't gotten to this yet, but I've read Chainsaw Man. I don't own it. I actually sold it because like a year ago I sold them because I believed that a box set was going to come out. It wasn't announced at the time, but Viz did announce it eventually. So I'm like, oh, I'll just pick up the box set whenever that gets released, and I think that's probably still the plan at this point. And then I actually do have the second volume of Chainsaw Man. I had to buy this one twice because my dog ate my manga. I was able to stop him from actually eating it, but he did start like ripping it apart when I left it on my bed one time, because I like to read manga like before I head to bed, obviously. That's what I've been doing with Naruto. Read a little bit of Naruto before I go to bed, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was going to do that, but then he ended up jumping on my bed and started ripping it apart. So I had to replace the second volume, but I still kept this one, just, you know, whatever. And then I have a random, like, 7 Deadly Sins Japanese volume. I don't know. I just own that for whatever reason. And then, just going down, we're actually closing in on the last shelf here. It's this one here. So I have Rohan at the Louvre. So this is actually a manga that Hirohiko Araki made after his artwork was featured at the French Museum of the same name. So this is actually like it's a full color hardcover release. Obviously that page is black and white, but you know, it's the one page I pulled to. But yeah, it's full color hardcover. So if you're a big Jojo fan, I highly recommend picking this up. It's not that expensive actually. I think you can just pick it up on Amazon. So I highly recommend it if you're big into JoJo. Great pickup there. So then I have, next to Rohan there, we have Monster Volumes 1 through 9. I think these are the perfect editions. So this is complete as well. I feel like, so I'm not into Naoki Urasawa's like works as much as other people are, I guess. Because next to Monster, I have, I'll explain further in a second, but it's 20th Century Boys Volume 1. Thank you for the gift, Peter. And also Master Keaton and Mujirushi as well, which is just a one-shot manga. So, yeah, the thing about Naoki Urasawa with me, and the reason why I haven't picked up more of like these 2 series, I think this one is just drawn by him. It's not actually written by him. But, you know, what I'm trying to get at is like, when I read Monster, I wasn't as into it as other people are, but I obviously like I understood why people think that they have a very high like regard. He's held in a very high regard by many people. I kind of get it. Like his artwork and his storytelling is like really great, also, and it plays really well together. But I guess for me, like I just wasn't as into it as other people are, and because of like how these volumes are kind of expensive, that's why I haven't picked up more of them. Because if I believe that I'm not going to be as into it as as I was with Monster, I mean, these are different stories, so it obviously might play out differently. But for now, I just haven't picked up more, and I've prioritized picking up other mangaka series, but obviously I do appreciate it. Like, I do see why people appreciate it so much. But just moving on, we have Solanin and Downfall by Inio Asano. I need to pick up more Inio Asano works because, like, I've only read half of Solanin here, but that's because I was kind of getting into it, but then, like, the vibe of it was just, like, the part that I got to was kind of sad, and I was like, bro, I'm not trying to feel this way when I'm reading manga at night before I head to bed. So instead, I just started reading other things at the time, and I just never really got back to reading the rest of it, but I will get to that as well. But for now, this is just what I own from Inio Asano. I will probably pick up more eventually later as well. And then next to Inio Asano manga there, we have Real, volumes 1 through 15 by Takehiko Inoue. So I think that Takehiko Inoue, I really like his storytelling. Obviously, Slam Dunk is one of my favorite manga, along with Yotsuba and One Piece. That's probably my top 3 if anyone's wondering. And like, thank you for getting to this part of the video because we're approaching the end here. But it's 1 through 15. So I believe this is caught up to the English release. There might be more out in Japan at this point. But Real is a manga about wheelchair basketball. And like, I say it's about wheelchair basketball, but it's really like, it's more, there's basically 3 main characters, and it kind of follows their lives and how like different trials and tribulations happen to them throughout the story. And the reason I like this manga so much is that I feel like even though some of the situations that the characters get into can be seen as like very like disheartening and very like difficult, there's always like kind of a silver lining with it. Even if things don't turn out the way that you or the characters like expect them or would like them to, there's still something that comes out of it that they can learn from and also grow from. I think like that's the reason why I like Takehiko Inoue's storytelling so much, is because like in Slam Dunk as well, like it was kind of the same type of vibe where you could see the characters learning throughout the story, and even if things didn't really go their way, like fully the way that they wanted to, they still grew from that experience. You know what I mean? But that's actually all the manga that I have on these bookshelves here. I just have some Blu-rays over there. But I do own some more manga, actually. I have the first Demon, or so the only Demon Slayer box set here is the complete series. That's actually going to be a gift for my friend there, since his birthday is coming up. But other than that, I also have this box here. Sorry, yeah, I just stopped recording there for a second. So basically I used to buy a lot of manga used. And I got a lot of doubles and like things like that with certain series. So some of this stuff I'm going to sell, and some of this stuff I'm probably just going to donate. I'll see how what I decide to do with this box here. That's basically all the manga I own. So yeah, that's my manga collection as of June 2023.